Okay, be honest. Have you ever just skimmed through a dense legal document, signed at the bottom, and basically just hoped for the best? Yeah, we've all done it, especially when we're super eager to move into a new place and we're just staring at pages upon pages of a residential lease. But do you know what is actually hiding in the fine print of your rental agreement? Today, we're going to unpack exactly what happens when you gloss over those details. Because, as you're about to see, what you don't read can absolutely cost you. Well, to give you a little taste of what we're actually dealing with today, how about a $120 fine? Yep, that is the exact amount you're going to be charged per offense if you fail to clean up your pet's mess, according to the document we are investigating today. It's not a gentle warning, right? It's a highly specific, really hefty price tag buried deep in the clauses. And honestly, that's just the tip of the iceberg. All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We're looking at a real, standard Alberta residential lease agreement to decode exactly what a tenant is signing away. Because this isn't just a simple arrangement about paying for a roof over your head. Not at all. It is a legally binding rulebook that dictates your daily habits, your maintenance duties, and some seriously heavy financial liabilities. Section 1. The core agreement. Who, what, and where. First up, who exactly are we dealing with here? Let's play legal translator for a second. The landlord and agent enforcing all these rules is Preferred Property Management, or PPM, which is a division of Prep Realty. I really want you to put yourself directly in the shoes of the tenant signing on the dotted line with this management company. They are the ones holding the clipboard, conducting the inspections, and most importantly, issuing the fines. And here is the where and the when. The tenant is renting the upper floor of a property located at 131 Amblefield Avenue Northwest. This is a fixed-term lease, and it runs from October 1st, 2025 to May 31st, 2026. Now notice that super specific designation of upper floor. The lease explicitly clarifies that renting the upper floor means you absolutely do not have access to or use of the basement. It's a partitioned, shared building. And as we're going to see shortly, that comes with its own unique set of headaches. Now for the big one, the core financial commitment, $2,350. That is your monthly rent. But the lease actually dictates exactly how and when this has to be paid. It's due on the 5th of each month, and it must be paid exclusively through a pre-authorized debit portal. No cash drop-offs, absolutely no mailing a check. You play by their portal's rules. Moving on to Section 2, daily responsibilities. And trust me, this is about way more than just paying rent. When you rent a place, you probably expect to do some basic vacuuming. But this lease, it outlines a highly specific, super granular list of mandatory maintenance chores. You are responsible for snow removal on city sidewalks and your back patios. You have to change furnace filters 3 times a year, plus change HRV and fridge filters twice a year. You even have to coordinate the weekly City of Calgary trash bins, sharing exactly half the space with the basement unit, and making sure they're out for collection. On top of all that, you are contractually obligated to keep the thermostat at a minimum of 16 degrees Celsius at all times, no matter what. And it's not just about knocking out a chore list. It's about the massive consequences if you slip up. Listen to this. The lease explicitly states that if you leave a window or a door open in bad weather and it causes frozen pipes or water damage, you, the tenant, are fully liable to pay for those repairs. Negligence carries a massive financial threat, right there in black and white. You aren't just a resident, you're essentially an unpaid property maintainer taking on the physical risk of the building. All right, Section 3, strict rules and, well, some pretty surprising quirks. This perfectly captures how one-sided these contracts can be. What happens if you accidentally overpay your rent, or say you double pay through their online portal? Well, the lease states the excess amount will not be refunded automatically. Nope, it's just held as a credit toward the following month. But what if you actually need that money back right away to pay for groceries or your other bills? You have to formally request a refund, and the management company will charge you a $100 administrative service fee just to return your own money to you. Unbelievable, right? Beyond the financial quirks, your actual day-to-day life is completely locked down. Want a friend or a family member to crash on your couch? Guests cannot stay more than 14 nights in any 6-month period without written approval from the landlord. There is an absolute zero-tolerance ban on smoking or vaping tobacco or cannabis anywhere inside the unit. Growing or producing cannabis, strictly prohibited, and it can instantly result in lease termination. And of course, you must allow the landlord access for inspections with just a 24-hour notice, which means your privacy is entirely contingent on their schedule. Which brings us to Section 4, fines, fees, and penalties. Let's do a rapid fire. All right, brace yourself. $50. That's the strict penalty slapped on you immediately if your rent isn't paid by the 5th of the month or if your payment bounces and is returned as non-sufficient funds. A simple bank error on the 6th of the month, that's going to instantly cost you $50. Next up, $150. This hefty fee hits you simply for missing an appointment or an inspection that prevents the landlord from accessing the unit. So if you forget they were coming, or you get stuck at work and aren't around to let them in, that is a $150 rescheduling fee coming straight out of your pocket. Moving right along, $350. This is the administrative charge required if you merely want to transfer your lease to someone else. And remember, that's literally just the fee to process the paperwork. Paying it doesn't even guarantee the transfer, because all changes still have to be fully approved by the landlord. Now, check out how the lease handles the very end of your tenancy. There's a legal term here, overholding tenants. That basically means someone who stays in the unit past their designated move-out date. The penalty for this is absolutely staggering. You don't just keep paying your normal prorated rate. You are charged damages for use and occupation equal to double the rent payable, calculated on a daily basis. Plus, you are liable for any damages suffered by the incoming tenant who couldn't move in. Section 5. The true cost of breaking your lease early. If life throws you a curveball and you suddenly have to move out early, walking away is literally a financial nightmare. Let's walk through this painful cascade of steps. First, you have to pay an administrative lease break fee equal to 1 full month's rent. Second, you are still legally responsible to pay your regular rent every single month until the property is released to a new tenant. Third, if the landlord has to rent it out at a lower rate just to fill the vacancy, you have to pay the difference until your original lease term ends. And fourth, you get hit with an additional $500 re-rental fee on top of everything else. The second you sign, you are completely financially trapped. So what's the big takeaway from all of this? It's pretty simple, actually. A lease is not just a standard receipt for your monthly housing payment. It is an incredibly dense, legally binding rulebook with a steep price tag attached to every single violation. Signing this document means you're taking on serious financial liability, you're agreeing to a strict list of daily maintenance chores, and you're subjecting yourself to heavily enforced penalties. Which leaves us with an absolutely critical and potentially very expensive question for you. The next time you are handed a lease agreement, will you just skim the dates and the rent amount so you can get the keys faster? Or will you actually sit down, grab a highlighter, and read the fine print? Because knowing exactly what you are agreeing to is your only real defense. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this empowers you to always read the fine print.